Hi, in this video I'll show you how you can use the FIGAF tool to test migrated integrations. So if you saw the last video, we created the different agents, we migrated an iFlow, and after that I have also inserted the IDs here. In the link in the comments or in the page where you have seen this, there's also a link on how to generate these iFlow IDs. So the first thing we need to do is we need to go to our PI system, and here we will search for the original iFlow or the original ICO we created, and here we will say record messages. We will create one that's called migration, and so all test cases is put into a test suite. We will select future messages. We can override some of these attributes if we want to, but for now it's good. We will say create. We can see that the object has been created. We can go in and check if the type, everything is correct. In most cases this is okay. This is a little more complicated scenario, which means we had to override the type here to exactly once. We then press play, and what the tool will then do is it will go into the communication channels, add modules to it, and it's just adding the SAP log modules to it. And then we just sit back and wait until someone processes messages in this scenario, and I just did that on the other screen. And now we can see it will pull these messages, and we can see here what it has pulled, which artifacts, etc. And if we close here, we can see we got 2 inbound and 3 outbound messages, which is what we expected in the scenario that we already migrated here. So that's good. So now we have created it. We can then create a test case on this group, and then if we do not record all the test cases, it's a good idea just to delete the existing messages. So now we have a test case. We can click here on the list, and then we can see all the different agent object test cases that we have, and we can have multiple. For now we just have one, and what we can then do is we can click migrate to CPI iFlow. We can select which test suite we want to add it in and the name of the ICO we want to use, and we'll use the one we just created here. And then you can see what are the PI message IDs that we have and their flow ID here. We configure a overriding expression to just use beginning and the end of this processing, and then you can add the different message IDs that it does. If you have migrated fully with the FIGAF tool, you will see these pre-filled. If you have something manually or have created and modified the iFlow manually, you can override these attributes. We can then press save, and now we have created a migrated test case for this. We can go in here and we can see the details on this. We can click here, see the details. Here we can see the incoming messages and all the outgoing messages that is being processed in this case. If we go to testing result, we can start it on a given CPI system where this is deployed. And what this will do is it will take the iFlow, check if it's deployed, switch it into trace mode, and once it have done that, it will send messages into that iFlow with all the different attributes that we need. And what we can see here is we can see that these have been sent. If something have happened that it was not able to send, you will get a notification here, and most likely it will be because you have not entered correct IDs for it. So you would need to fix those before you can resolve it, and that would be in the agent setting, where you would need to fill in these IDs, this iFlow map host. If you need to add OAuth URL token, you can also add that here to help alleviate this. But now we have our test suite runs. That was, I guess, an earlier one, so we can check here what the processing was. So it was sent with errors, so there was some errors on it, and I think this is one of the HTTP channels that does not work. But let's see here if we can pull the message here. We can see that we received some messages already on this, and I think this is okay. So that's just because the iFlow is not working, and we can see here there's an error on the date. So we simply just add date here, and that means this date will then be ignored for the future. And yeah, the second message was not processed correctly, but no worries. That is just what this process about testing is about, figuring out what is going on and why some messages cannot be processed. But now we've actually done this, we can process a full comparison again, and then this will use these attributes, this ignoring expressions that we already had created, and now we can actually see this has been migrated successfully. We have run some tests on it and seen that it works out pretty smoothly. So this is how you would create a test case, run it, and there's obviously some work involved in figuring out what are the different errors you're getting and why and how to resolve these things. So that's obviously something you need to go through once you're resolving these. And yeah, most likely it will be some of your channels that need some different configurations for it to work. I hope this was useful and you can see how this can be done.